And welcome to another season of the Cardinals Nest here on HBC Channel 25. Dean Beckman, along with St. Mary's Sports Information Director Donny Nadeau. We are back for another season on the Cardinals Nest. And Donny, the fall season, always a lot to like about that as the new sports start to ramp up. And this year in particular, we have a lot of new coaches, and we'll have one of them on the program a little bit later on. Pete Watkins is the new men's soccer coach, and he'll be on with one of his seniors, Bobby Gass, and we can talk about the new men's soccer season as he is rebuilding and trying to resurrect that program.
Yeah, like you said, a new season, and when you've got basically 5 sports in the fall for us, and 4 of them have new coaches, so it's definitely new for a lot of things. And I kind of warned Coach Watkins a little bit that being the first guest, usually it's a good thing, but we might rake him over the coals a little bit and see if we can get some insight into his coaching philosophy and what he's brought with him, and maybe what he's experiencing about Winona, because it's a lot different than where he came from.
Yep, and he's certainly an experienced head coach, so he should have a lot to add from that perspective. So we'll look forward to talking to Pete Watkins and Bobby Gass and men's soccer a little bit later on here in the program. Donnie, this is also a big weekend for St. Mary's and the athletic program. It is M Club weekend, and on previous year's shows, we have talked about M Club Weekend quite a bit. Meg Richtman is always busy with M Club Weekend, and really it's a chance for the alumni to come back and meet and have dinner with a lot of the current student athletes for the Cardinals. And, of course, the big happening is the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and we have 3 new Hall of Famers this year.
Yeah, it's a big, you're right, it's a huge weekend, and Bill Moore, the Cardinal M Club director, has worked very hard. We have a golf outing on Saturday, which will bring in about 132 alums and parents and family and friends of St. Mary's, and so we have a nice golf outing. And then, like you said, the big coup de grace for us is of course our induction of our 3 new members into the Sports Hall of Fame: Nate DeMars, Frank Savino, and John Redpath, all 3 of which were former hockey players here at St. Mary's, and certainly 3 very deserving Hall of Fame inductees. I know they're very excited about coming back. I know a lot of alums are excited about coming back, and it'll be a lot of fun. Fortunately, the forecast is for a great day on Saturday, and you kick it off with a really fun golf outing, and then you get together and you honor not only our Hall of Fame inductees, but also all of our award winners from the past season, along with announcing our outstanding male and female athletes and scholar athletes. So it's a big day, and the ceremony at night is really nice, and you get all of our current student athletes together, and they get to kind of experience what it's like as Nate and Frank and John give their induction speeches, and it's a pretty special event, and we're looking forward to it as we do every year.
And I think one thing that the current athletes will appreciate about this year, of course, are the 2 recent hockey graduates from 1998. So they haven't been out too long. They'll be able to bring back some good experiences.
Yeah, Nate and Frank were actually players that I actually coached when I coached with Coach Olson with the men's team, and then John graduated in '81. So he's really not that far out. So it's a big deal. And I know that talking to all 3 of those since we've announced that they were inducted, they're all very excited and very honored to be inducted into our Sports Hall of Fame, and like I said before, certainly all 3 of them are very deserving of that honor.
And of course, alumni games as well take place on Sunday. That's always a good time, and should be some good performances. Baseball, softball, a lot of the teams get back and have some alumni
Yeah,
games.
It's a lot of fun, and actually the men's hockey team will start things off on Friday night. They'll have their alumni game on Friday, and then baseball, softball, all these teams are going to be on campus competing, and really, it's a celebration of current student athletes and our past student athletes, and I think that it's fun to see some of those guys come back. And Chris Kendall, our Vice President for Student Development, he shows up to the baseball game and shows what he was. He was an outstanding baseball player in his day, and he can still swing it. And I'm amazed at how fast he can get from home to first wearing blue jeans, but he can do it. So it's a lot of fun, and I think that it's a nice time for our current student athletes to kind of engage with with our former athletes and tell war stories. I mean, that's what it's all about, is the memories that you've made here during your time at St. Mary's, and for the people that are here, it's a chance for them to kind of talk about what the differences are between playing athletics now and what it was like back when some of these other people played.
All right, we'll transition now into some of this past week's activities for St. Mary's sports, and begin with volleyball, because what a great season Mike Lester and his team had last year, Donnie, and they are certainly picking up right where they left off, even though they lost a lot of key players to graduation this past May. But Mike Lester's team 3-1 in the Ground Round Sugarloaf Classic, which is the big tournament that St. Mary's hosts every year. Their only loss coming in the last contest against Luther. That was a 3-2 decision there, but otherwise they took care of business the rest of the way.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Lester before the Sugarloaf Classic, and we talked a little bit about last year and the fact that they made the conference tournament. They hosted a conference tournament match, and then unfortunately didn't get a bid to the NCAA tournament. And for a lot of the returners, that kind of fueled them to to work hard over the summer and get prepared for this year. And like you said, obviously. Between the returners and the new people that Coach Lester's brought in, they certainly have gotten the season off on the right foot, going 3-1 with really some very impressive performances, beating La Crosse 3-2, and then Finlandia and Loris 3-0. So it was a very good start, and then obviously losing to Luther 3-2. Coach Lester's very happy with the way they performed, and it was one of those that he was happy about how the returners performed, as well as some of the new people. And when you start talking about returners, Amy Kuyak and Lexi Asimos are two of the returners who did a phenomenal job, both being named to the all-tournament team. Amy had a great performance at the net, and Lexi was the setter for all 4 matches and did a really fine job. So returner-wise, those are two of the names that you're going to hear a lot of. And then you look at some of the newcomers, and you've got Mary Nordic, Molly Grover, Kara Grant. Kara Grant had a phenomenal weekend. She led the team with 35 kills, and so Mike's rebuilding. Not actually, he's restocking, not rebuilding, because
right.
You lose a Sarah Gardner, and you lose a Jess Mate, and you lose a Brittany Cherwinka, and he's got people stepping into those roles. Now, obviously, a Kara Grant at this stage isn't an All-American like Sarah Gardner was, but she's showing that she's got the potential, and Amy is fully healthy from some shoulder issues she had last year. So, it's a great start to the season for them, and hopefully they can keep things rolling this weekend as they head to Boston, Massachusetts to take part in the Endicott tournament.
Yeah, big tournament there in Boston. And, I think in all sports, Donnie, collegiate, professional, almost at any level, you have to have a mix of veterans and younger players because you're always going to have that continual turnover. If you don't get the younger players some time, you're not going to have any returning players with the experience. So it's great to get Kara in there along with Amy, and as you mentioned, Lexi Asimos, Tara Rasmussen, and a couple of other younger players who saw sometime last year that gives them additional experience this year. I look at a Kaylee Bunny, only a sophomore this year, played extensively as a freshman, and then Carissa Hahn, who's a junior this year, played quite a bit as a sophomore.
Absolutely, and you got to give Coach Lester credit there. He's set up his roster for just that reason, and for him to graduate 7 individuals like he did last year is really not normal, because that's a very big graduating class. You don't want to lose that much of your starting lineup, and yet he's been able to find people that have been able to fit those roles. And you're right, a lot of the people who saw extensive duty last year, but maybe were able to stand in the shadows a little bit and let Sarah and Jess Mate and Brittany kind of take the spotlight. Now they've been asked to take that, step into that spotlight a little bit, take a little more of a leadership role. And I know that, according to Mike, all of his returners have really stepped up and have been the leaders that they need to be, not only on the court, but off the court as well.
All right, so good luck to the St. Mary's volleyball team. A lot of the season still ahead, and a big tournament coming up this weekend in the Boston area. All right, we're going to have later on in the program in our interview segment the men's soccer team. But Donnie, women's soccer has also started. They're a couple of games in, and women's soccer also introducing a new head coach this year in Neil Cassidy. While he's a new head coach to St. Mary's, he is a familiar face, as he was an assistant a few years back under head coach Eric Luzzy then.
Not only a familiar face, but for those that know Coach Cassidy, he's also a familiar voice in that very British accent of his. And it'll be fun when we get him on the show, because I've already told him that I don't understand a word he says. So, it's one of those things that, Neil brings a fresh face and a real desire, and is doing some very good things with the women's program. And I know that, unfortunately, they've started out the season 0-2 with a pair of 1-0 losses, 2 games that have been, very hard fought and very close right from the start to the finish. But he likes a lot of the things that he's seeing, and like like the women's volleyball team, he's got a lot of returners to mix with, a lot of new faces. The biggest difference this year over the past 4 years is they're without Amy Sibic, their leading scorer, and when you lose somebody that's as talented at scoring goals as Amy was, that certainly is a tough act to follow, and so Coach Cassidy's got his work cut out for him finding some scorers. Right now they're he's tinkering with the lineup a little bit and moving people around and trying to find that right combination that'll work for them, and I think once they do that, they're going to really kick things into high gear.
Well, and clearly the defense is playing well. I mean, they've only held the opponents to 2 goals in 2 games, and so yeah, if they can catch some breaks offensively, they're going to be in all of these games.
Well, and it's obvious through the first 2 games that he's got two very capable goaltenders in the returner Cassie Hewlett and then Miranda Halling, a freshman from Rochester. Both of them have played a game now. Both of them have played very well, and I think that as we can ask Coach Watkins when he's on, I think that you want to build a program. You build it from the back out, and right now they've got the 2 solid keepers, and they've got Rachel Gates-Vickery back there. She's a 4-year starter, has done a very good job, and so I think that that's kind of the approach that he's taking is let's play very good defense, and hopefully, like you said, we can pop a couple goals in, and we'll take some 1-0 wins over, maybe the 1-0 losses that they're getting right now.
Right. A couple of road games coming up this Saturday and Sunday. They're at Wisconsin Oshkosh Saturday, and then at Marion College University in Wisconsin on Sunday.
Yeah, two more tune-ups, as Coach Cassidy calls them, and then they play for real when they open their conference season on next Wednesday, the 14th, against St. Thomas. So he's using these 4 non-conference games as a kind of a way to get an idea of what kind of a talent he has and what kind of lineup he wants to put together, and then on the 14th they kick it off for real against St. Thomas to open the conference play.
All right, we'll transition now to cross country, and Donny, St. Mary's hosted the Alumni Open to begin the season. Of course, probably the toughest track that they'll race on this year is the St. Mary's course for cross country. 3 teams, and St. Mary's men's came in 2nd place, just 1 point behind Winona State.
Yeah, you talk about tough tracks. The one thing you got to remember about Saturday's meet was the women were running in the driving rain, so it made it even that much more tough. So I talked to Coach Barrett, and things kind of went about how he expected them to. They're battling through a little bit of injuries right now. Their top runner, David Feather, is got some nagging injuries. David's returning after an all-conference and all-region season as a junior last year. He ran but didn't run at full speed, so they're obviously expecting some big things from him. Jake Traxler had a very good meet. Peter Borish had a solid showing. So on the men's side, there's a lot of experience and a lot of expectation. They kind of raised the bar on themselves last year and came into this season, with expectations that are certainly much higher than some of the teams in the past have had. So this was a good tune-up for them, a good start. But I know they want more. They expect to do better, and once they get healthy, that's going to be the key for them. On the women's side, they're very young. They have a lot of new faces to go with some very, very experienced underclassmen. Really, not a lot of seniors on the team. So Coach Barrett is just expecting them to continue to improve with each meet. And it was nice for them to get that first meet in to kind of set the bar to where they're at, and hopefully they can just keep improving with each meet as they go on, heading towards the MIAC championships and the NCAA regional.
Right, and Sarah Spitzmuller was the top runner on the women's side in that Alumni Open. 22-22 is what she finished in. And you talk about the men trying to heal up a little bit. They'll actually have a chance to do so, Donnie, as they have this weekend off, so they catch a break there, and then they go to St. Olaf, that invitational, next weekend.
Right, it is a good time. Coach Barrett likes to have some time off between events, and especially the fact that they're banged up and they're a little nicked up, that it is a very good, hard to say that after one race, but it is a good time for them to have a break and just kind of heal up and get ready for that St. Olaf Invitational.
Yeah. We go now to men's golf, and the men's team opened up the season against McAllister in a dual meet. A very close loss in that one, 349 to 325, and then lost in a Ryder Cup style matchup at Carleton.
Yeah, one of the things that Coach Landrum, another one of our new coaches, the thing he's looking for on the guys' side is some consistency. He needs his guys to be, shooting up to their abilities, and it's early in the season, but he's still looking for some scores to be where they should be for the players that he has, and right now they're working very hard. Their practices have been pretty intense, and And you know, he's hoping that he can get some scores down in the mid to high 70s, which he feels that he's got 3 or 4 guys that can do that and can consistently shoot those kind of numbers. But right now they've got to get that consistency. They're giving away, as Coach Landrum would put it, they're giving away strokes on the course that they shouldn't be giving away. They're not managing the game the way they should be managing it, and that's kind of the thing that they've been working on. You know, play the game smart. You don't have to go out to the first tee and bang it 400 yards if it's a 320-yard par 4. You know, why not take out an iron that you're comfortable with, put it in the fairway so that you got a nice approach shot, and manage the game a little more than just going out there and trying to bang it as far as you can.
And then, Donnie, finally in women's golf, they took 18th at an Eau Claire Invitational. But before that, they did win a dual meet against McAllister that went right down to the wire.
Yeah, it sure did. It actually went to the 5th-person tiebreaker. So it's a great way for them to start with a dual meet win. And they got some scoring from some people that we don't usually talk about. Jenna Mrozinski had her career best score of 89 to lead the way against McAllister, and that's a great thing for Coach Landrum, is that he's getting people other than Gia Pooch and Rachel Lamberty to kind of step up and do their job. And Gia had a very good tournament over in Eau Claire, shooting an 83 the first day and then an 89 the second. So they're getting some good scores. And again, it's got to be that consistency that they need if they want to to continue to make some strides and maybe move up the MIAC ladder. Big tournaments this weekend. The women are at Wartburg and the men are at Augsburg. A lot of MIAC schools at both of those tournaments, so it'll be kind of a nice gauge for not only the players but for Coach Landrum to see where they're stacking up with the rest of the conference at this early stage in the season.
All right, Donnie, when we return here on the Cardinals Nest, we'll introduce our viewers to the new head men's soccer coach, Pete Watkins, and also Bobby Gass, a senior defenseman for the Cardinals. That's next here on HBC Channel 25.
BTN is bigger than ever, with more events and more coverage than ever before. More Olympic sports, more studio shows, more original programming, and more championship events. BTN brings you more than ever. BTN, this is big.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
What are you so excited about?
HBC's Refer a Friend promo. Do you have HBC?
No.
Well, that is a problem I can help fix and get a discount on my HBC account in the meantime.
How so?
When you refer a friend and they sign up for HBC services, you both get discounts. Not to mention great service and support from HBC.
We should tweet all our friends about Refer a Friend from HBC.
Great idea.
Tweet, tweet. Hey, you, tweet.
Oh, Robin, you're so behind the times.
With 32 team camps, 267 Hall of Famers, 45 Super Bowls, and thousands of NFL classics, it all adds up to one network. NFL Network, when all you want is football.
Against LSU.
This offense continues to develop.
Not so fast, my friend.
Who wins the game?
Is there any question at all?
What was I thinking?
The Badgers. With the upset.
Oh! Who's getting carried away?
College Game Day, built by the Home Depot. Saturdays at 9 a.m. on ESPNU and at 10 a.m. on ESPN.
The best in college football is here on FX. The biggest teams and the top conferences on the FX Game of the Week.
Unbelievable! What a play!
Charles Davis and Gus Johnson bring you all the action all season long. The power, the drive, the passion.
Touchdown!
And thanks for watching the Cardinals Nest here on HBC Channel 25, the sports show devoted exclusively to St. Mary's University athletics. Dean Beckman, Donny, Nadeau, now joined by Bobby Gass, a senior for the men's soccer team, a senior defenseman this year, and also Pete Watkins, the new head coach for the Cardinals, brand new in his first season here, but had a couple of head coaching stints before that. So, Pete, Bobby, thanks for being on the program. And Bobby, let's start with you. You're a senior, Lake Zurich, Illinois, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're a business major, public relations minor. Tell us how you got your start playing soccer and how you found your way to St. Mary's.
Starting soccer was at the age of about 3 years old. My dad gave me a soccer ball and told me to go outside and just kick around.
My guess was going to be you broke something in the house first.
Yeah, of course it was. It was small balls and big balls, and eventually broke things, so I had to go outside. And he just kept me out there for days on end and then gave me teams to play for. And it just built up. And St. Mary's came into my life. I was looking at schools all around, and I got recruited at an indoor tournament, actually, and told me to give it a chance up here, the recruiter. And my mom went to St. Teresa's, actually, which was now Cotter, and she said I'd love it up here, so I thought I'd give it a shot and came up here, and next thing you know, I'm 4 year playing soccer and still graduating on time.
Yeah.
So
Great. And Pete, tell us about yourself. You come to St. Mary's, your most recent head coaching stint at Aurora University.
Correct, yeah. I was at Aurora for 9 years and 8 seasons, and had a chance to take a program in a similar situation there, and hopefully I think we left a good legacy, and hopefully that will perpetuate itself there as well. But I saw a lot of similarities between the two schools in that regard. So prior to Aurora, I was actually on the women's side, and I started the women's soccer program at Ferris State University in Big Rapids, Michigan, Division II school, not unlike Winona State here in town. And that was my hometown, so it was a lot of similarities here to Winona as well.
And of course, you played soccer at McMurray College in Illinois. Tell us about that.
True, yeah. I actually was slated to go to Central Michigan University, and they dropped the program my senior year, February, my senior year of high school. So I followed a coach to a junior college for a year in Arizona and ended up at McMurray, and it's the best decision that could have ever happened to me. I met my wife there, played in 2 NCAA tournaments, had a chance to play in a Final 8 one year, and most importantly played for a great coach in Bill Killen, and he was a fantastic mentor and really led me on my path to where I'm going now.
Okay.
You know, your experience as coach, as a player and as a coach, and really I'm using Aurora as you know, a really good example. How important are those experiences that you had there as you come into this program, which really needed some guidance and some help, and you know, looking to you to kind of rebuild that program?
Yeah, the phrase the guys have heard me say quite a bit is it's not my first rodeo. You know, I've seen all the challenges, not all the challenges, but a lot of the challenges that we'll encounter this year and next year. I can't say as I knew exactly what I was doing when I went into Aurora. I learned a lot of things on the fly, and so that's helped me, I think, with St. Mary's to catch things earlier and be ready to be proactive with things. And it's really our leadership with Bobby and a lot of our other older players have really helped us with that.
Bobby, that was going to be my next question for you. As a 4 year regular on the team, you know, I'm sure Coach Watkins is leaning on you and Brian New as two of those veterans. How do you approach your role as not only a leader on the field but off?
The big thing that Coach Watkins brought into school and to me and Brian was he mentioned that we need to get a new face on campus. We can't just be that lazy soccer team anymore that doesn't care about anything, that we don't care about athletics or the school. And really, it's not to our credit, as to me and News, being leaders. It's to the returners and the newcomers that they, Coach will say it a lot, is that we gave into everything that he's taught us, and no one's ever second-guessed anything that he said, and no one's been stubborn about it. So I think that's a big part of why our success will be greater this year.
And I would imagine, too, Bobby, coming off a season where you had 2 wins, you were so close in a lot of games, I'm sure the team is hungry for some of the knowledge that Coach Watkins can bring and really just wants to turn it around. Certainly the past few seasons haven't gone the way that you envisioned that they were going to go, so I'm sure that the players are hungry for some of that new leadership.
Yeah, hard work paid off this summer. We came in a lot better shape than we have in the past, and preseason's been a lot harder than in the past. So I think our guys are ready to start clean and a new reign, I guess you could say, of Coach Watkins.
Coach, talk a little bit about the adjustment period, maybe for you, for the players, and then vice versa, the players to you, because obviously when you bring in a new coach, you've got your philosophy, your ideals, and they've got to buy into that, and how do you get them to do that?
Yeah, the first thing we did was put stuff up on the wall so they understand what's expected. We talk about being young men of character that work to improve and love to compete, and those are really the three tenets to what we do. We don't talk about winning this game or beating a certain opponent or whatever. We want to get better each time and be the right kind of guys, and I think everything else will take care of itself as long as we do that. And we'll have teachable moments throughout the season and in the off season too with that, but again, our older players and our freshmen, they realize it's a special time to create a new legacy, and I think they're willing to do that. And it's been fun to watch them find those teachable moments. We've had a couple games where we've had some big challenges with referees or logistics or weather, and we've been able to deal with those. And I think that's been a step in the right direction.
You've played 3 games. You need some extra time. So is that the reason you've gone into double overtime twice in 3 games?
Yeah, we certainly don't have the legs for it. So yeah, we've played a lot of soccer for 3 games so far. And if you take into account of the weather delay at Rockford, it's been about 6 games worth of soccer. So it's definitely a challenge early because we had injuries coming in, and we've got some injuries to deal with now. Even took a couple last night that are pretty significant. But that's just another opportunity for someone else to step in and improve what they can do to us.
You know, if you're a person that looks just at numbers, you're 0-3 or you're 0-2-1 after 3 games, but yet you look at those 3 games, double overtime loss to Lake Forest, a 1-goal loss to Rockford, and a 0-0 tie to North Central. You're really not that far away from being 2-0-1 or 3-0.
True, yeah, yep. Had some bad luck in a couple of games, but you make your own luck, and we need to, for our guys, that we need to realize that there's a next level to get to make a little bit better decisions on the ball, to be a little bit more cohesive in defending, and that will allow us to come out on the other end of those 1-goal games. But our competition level at Lake Forest was outstanding. We had parents and a lot of folks coming to us saying that we competed, and that was great for our guys to hear.
Bobby, you're actually asked to play a different position this year, probably something you're not really familiar with. I guess it's one of those things to buying into Coach Watkins' philosophy is now you're a defender, someplace you're not used to. Talk a little bit about that change and how you're adjusting.
It was a big change. I played forward as a freshman, midfielder, sophomore and junior year, and Coach Watkins came in and he basically put me back there one practice, and I was kind of, okay, I'll try it out. And he talked to me after practice and made me confident to play back there, like boosted my self-esteem a little. I'm not sure if he meant some of it, but made me feel good about being back there. And I've enjoyed it. I've been able to learn something new about the position, and playing back there with Gunner and Brian, I couldn't ask for a better 2 center backs to play with, and Pat Moore on the left side. I couldn't ask for better experienced players back there to help me cope with it. You know,
Coach, we were talking in the first segment about Coach Cassidy trying to find that right mix, that right fit for all his players. It appears that you're maybe doing the same thing with these first non-conference games?
Yep, absolutely. In fact, if you look at our back 4 and our goalkeeping situation, that's the only place we're not starting freshmen. And as you mentioned, you build from the back. So we're able to put a goalkeeper out there that's played a lot of games, and 4 players that have played in more than 1 college soccer match, which was different than the other 6 guys on the field the other day. So, yeah, the veterans we have in the back have really helped us.
Coach, just a minute left here in the program. Now that you've seen the team for 3 games in actual game action, what do you think your goals are for the year as far as improvement? What areas do you want to see some big improvement on throughout this season?
I think to put all 3 parts of the game together. We've defended well in some games. We've scored a lot of goals in other games, just create a lot of chances, and we've been able to manage the game. But we have to put the complete package together. That just comes with experience, and some of these guys literally have played in 5, 6 soccer games, at the college level, and that's it. So it takes some time.
All right, Pete Watkins, Bobby Gass, thanks so much for being on the program today, and good luck here the rest of the year.
Great. Thank you for having us.
All right, that's going to do it for our first Cardinals Nest of the 2011-2012 season. I want to thank you for watching. Tune in again next week for another Cardinals Nest right here on HBC.